Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. I just had a cough drop, so I do not sound as nasally as last week. Hopefully, everybody's first week, days of fall are good. It's been nice. It's been sunny, but and warm, but not like the summer where it was like you felt like you were on fire. So today, I'm gonna talk about three movies. So let's just get right into it. So I'm gonna review Beauty and the Beast, The Princess and the Frog. Technically has the in it, but people also call it Princess and the Frog, and Moana. So we're gonna start off with Beauty and the Beast. So these are in order, kind of how I love them. Even though I will say they're all my favorite Disney princess movies. So but Belle is number one. Even though I feel like Tiana should be number one, because I am black, as you all know, as you can see. Um, and I feel like her story is kind of stronger and not as Stockholm Syndrome y, but we'll get into that. I don't know if I want to actually like talk about it, but you get what I'm saying. So Beauty and the Beast is an animated musical romantic fantasy film. And the synopsis is Beauty and the Beast focuses on the relationship between Beast, the voice of Robbie Benson, which I think his name is actually Adam when he's like a human. Once we read the cast list, I guess it might say it. I can't remember. I can't remember if the original mentions that or if the live action does. And there's also another live action, which was live on stage, which I still want to watch with her. I love her. Okay, and so Beast is a prince who is magically transformed into a monster and is serviced into household objects as punishment for his arrogance. And Belle, voice of Paige O'Hara, a young woman who he imprisons in his castle in exchange for her father's freedom. To break the curse, the Beast must learn to love Belle and earn her love in return before the last petal falls from an enchanted rose, or he will remain a monster forever. Which, of course, is Disney, so, I mean, this movie's like 30-ish years old. So, it's always going to have a happy ending. Although I haven't watched every Disney movie, so I can't say whether they all do or not. But it was released November 22nd, 1991. It was directed by Gary Trousdale. I hope I said that right. And Kirk Wise. I want to say one of them, or maybe it's with Moana and Tiana. I mean, Moana and Princess and the Frog. I think one or both of them have one of the same directors, I think. Double check that once we get there. So the cast, as I already mentioned, Paige O'Hara as Belle, Robbie Benson as the Beast. Okay, they do not mention his name's Adam, but I feel like I've seen that his name's Adam from someplace. Richard White as Gaston, who is like the arrogant guy, the handsome guy in the town, who everybody loves at Belle, but he loves Belle, which, she's not into him. I wouldn't be into him either. He's really arrogant, really rude. Not a very walking red flag if you've never seen Beauty and the Beast. Jerry O'Bark as Lumiere. He is a maitre d' of the Bells, and of the Beast, and his character is a like a lamp, like a candelabra. It's like a candle. So the body is in the middle, and then he has two hands that are also candles. So that's what he is. David Ogen Steers as Cogsworth. He's like a shelf clock. He's a clock, basically. But he's a butler. Angela Lansbury as Mrs. Potts. She's a teapot. And then Bradley Pierce as Chip, who is her son. He's a teacup. She's the pot. He's the cup. She has a lot of kids, actually. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe back in the day, your whole family would be with you at work, because she got like 10 kids at least. Okay. Rex Everhart as Maurice, That's Belle's father. He's an inventor. And he originally gets kidnapped. Well, I don't know if kidnapped. No, he originally gets imprisoned because he gets lost in the woods. So he goes to the castle to rest because I think it's like snowing. It's like winter. So he wants some place to like get warm and until the morning basically. So the beast captures him for trespassing. But then of course Belle switches with him. So yeah. Jesse Corti as LaFou, I think that's how you say his name. He's Gaston's like best friend, sidekick kind of guy. And then Joanne Worley as the wardrobe. She's like a closet wardrobe. Yeah. So those are all the characters. And then where to stream it? If you have a subscription, Disney Plus. I just put Disney, but it's really Disney Plus. Free actually, you can watch it on Sling TV. I don't have Sling, but I have Disney Plus. That's where I watched it. That's where I watched all the movies actually. To buy and rent it is on Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Vudu, Google Play, Movies and TV, and YouTube. And I'm gonna say everybody's is the same. Yeah, everyone else is the same as well. So, besides the Sling TV, you can watch these all on Disney Plus, and all of those places that I mentioned, you can buy or rent them. Um, so I'm gonna go over my pros and my cons. I didn't really write my notes out, so I'm gonna try not to ramble and just get straight to the point. So at first, I kept like saying the same things for each one movie, and I was like, okay, they all can't be the same pros, so I had to be really specific. So the animation is my first pro. I love like the colors, the like just the way that Beauty and the Beast looks. It's less like it's real magical, real nice. Everybody looks good. It's really classic Disney. It's part of like their Disney Renaissance, like when they had their classic movies. It looks really amazing. Even after all these years, I still love it. It still looks vibrant, beautiful. Yeah. And then I said my next pro is the characters and the unique abilities. So especially when the people storm the castle once they figure out that there's a beast. Because at first they think Maurice is just, well, Gaston kind of wants to frame Maurice so that he can, get to Belle basically, which is terrible, right? But yeah, when they come to attack the castle, all the objects, all of the, um, all the servants, all the objects that they get turned into, they all have these unique abilities and how they fight, and yeah, it's really cool. It's really funny to see. You know, and of course Lumiere, he is the light, he's the candle. Uh, everybody has their own unique things that they can do. And one thing that always freaked me out was like one of so Lumiere has a girlfriend and she's like a feather duster. I guess she's like a maid. And one of the like townspeople is like plucking her feathers, and I'm like, is he like, if she was a real person, he's like breaking her legs or something? It's like a weird, like tiny thing that I noticed. That I was like, how would this work if she was human? You it felt weird, felt uncomfortable. Of course, Lumiere saved her. That's his girl. He got to save her. Yeah, and then just like how they, uh, how they work around the house, and since Miss Potts is a teapot, she actually boils water, she boils tea. Chip, you can drink from him. It's really interesting. And then the character development is my last pro. With the beast, learning to love, learning to, you know, at one point he kind of does accept his fate, but he learns that if you love something, let it go, and if it comes back to you, it's meant to be, which definitely is what happens with uh, with Belle. She does come back once the townspeople try to attack the castle. And then Belle, of course, she learns to love the beast, and everybody learns to like work together, accept everybody. And then, of course, at the end, everything ends happily ever after. As far as we know, there are no like sequels. Like I know Little Mermaid, like she has a sequel. I think when she has kids and stuff. Um, and no, Cinderella has like two sequels. Like I don't know if she has kids though, but I feel like she has like something else happens in like the other two movies. I know the stepmom tries to take her place, so she tries to go back in time in one of them, and I can't remember what happens to the other one. I haven't watched the sequels, but yeah, I feel like that'd be really interesting because I really would like to see what happens after, the Beast is human. Like, you know, um, what's that like? You know what I mean? Because they have a Christmas movie, but he was still the Beast in the Christmas movie, so it was still like in the same timeline. So I'm like, how long was she captured in there? It didn't seem like it was that long, but maybe it was like a couple months, a few months, maybe. And I only have one con. I talked about this in my short video, like I made shorts about this, like slash a TikTok. What age was he when he got cursed? I don't know. And some people think he was 11. Some people think he was a young adult. Even though in the beginning of the movie they say something about his 21st year, and then some people are like, "Oh, you shouldn't take the lyrics seriously." When Lumiere says that it's been 10 years, which doesn't make any sense to me. Why would he say they've been these objects for 10 years if we're not supposed to take it seriously? Maybe that's some kind of behind the scenes clip that I never saw about this movie. But that bugged me. And also, why did everybody have to get cursed? I mean, the Beast was the one allegedly being rude and, not understanding. And I just want to say, why would I want some random old hag to come in my house? I don't know. I guess I would have got cursed too. So, I mean, it is what it is. Okay, so here's my overall opinion on the movie. That's really messed up, though. Like, I'm getting cursed because I don't want no stranger in my house. But, it's supposed to be a life lesson. You're supposed to be nice to people. I guess. My overall opinion, I love Belle. That Belle loves to read, and I love to read. So that's, like, the main reason why I love her so much. Well, I think it's such a classic Disney movie in the way that it looks so vibrant. The story is very enchanting, and the characters were so unique. And I love that the characters learn to overcome their differences and fall in love, of course. It's a Disney movie. They gotta fall in love. Romantic movie. They gotta fall in love. Even though Belle definitely has Stockholm Syndrome, but I feel like people have, when I looked it up, people were like, oh, that's not really true. But I feel like it definitely is. LOL. But yeah, I still think the story is like really cute. So I decided to write acrostic poems because I originally did that when I did my top 10 favorites movie list, and I felt like it'd be cute to use all their names as acrostic poems. So that's what I did. So of course the first one's called Belle. Being your unique self, and everyone around you looks at you in wonder when you let your imagination soar in every book you read, and now you have your own fairy tale. That's poem for Belle. So now to The Princess and the Frog. I put Princess and the Frog. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's an animated musical romantic fantasy comedy. It does have some dark things in it for it to be a comedy. No, I'm just not for you again. But of course, it ends happily ever after, so it's not all like depressing. So the synopsis is: it's set in New Orleans during the 1920s. The film tells the story of a hardworking waitress named Tiana who dreams of opening her own store. After kissing a prince who had been turned into a frog by an evil witch doctor, Tiana becomes a frog herself and must find a way to turn back into human form before it's too late. So it was released December 11th, 2009. My eyes itchy. It was directed by John Musker and Ron Clements. Wasn't John up here? Nope. Okay, he must be in the other, in Moana as well. Let me check. Am I wrong about that? Oh, I'm not wrong. Oh, they have the same directors, so I'm not even gonna. So the director from Moana will also be John Musker and Ron Clements. Okay. The cast is Anika Noni Rose as Tiana. She's the main character, 19-year-old waitress. She's really young. An aspiring chef slash restaurateur. We have Bruno Campos as Prince Naveen, the Prince of Maldonia. He's a 20-year-old musician and playboy. He gets cut off from his family, so he's just kind of in the wind, just hanging out. But of course, he gets mixed up with the next character, Keith David as Dr. Facilier. He's like a voodoo doctor, or also known as the Shadow Man, a voodoo bokor. I don't know if I said that right. I feel like that's probably a French word. Slash a witch doctor. So he tricks the prince, and then he's trying to marry Tiana's friend. Who is Tiana's friend? Okay. Her friend named Lottie, who's like, her father's like rich. His name's Big Daddy. He wants to get their riches and take over New Orleans. Okay. Michael Leon Woolley as Lewis. He is a friendly yet neurotic, obese trumpet-playing alligator who they meet in the bayou on their journey to try and undo the curse. Or the spell. Spell, curse, same thing. But he helps them out on the way. Okay, Jennifer Caudy as Charlotte Lottie LaBouffe. She is the 19-year-old Southern debutante and Tiana's best friend. So yeah, she wants to marry a prince. So at first she's supposed to marry Prince Naveen, but of course, him and Tiana fall in love. Jill Cummings as Ray. He's a middle-aged Cajun firefly. He lives in the bayou with his large firefly family. They have like thousands of family members. And he's in love with a star named, did they talk about the star? Eveline, which is a reference to a Longfellow poem. I did not read the poem. Yeah. And he's named after Ray Charles. That's really interesting. Okay. Peter Bartlett as Lawrence. He's Prince Naveen's valet. He also wants to be rich and be powerful and not just be a servant. So he does help like the witch doctor to like come up with this whole plan. Jennifer Lewis as Mommy Odie, a blind 197-year-old voodoo priestess, also lives in the bayou. So she helps them out with how to break the spell. And yeah, I don't want to spoil too much, but of course they end up not being frogs. They end up happily ever after, of course, like every movie. I didn't know Oprah. I did not read this before. I told y'all right now. But Oprah Winfrey was Eudora, Tiana's mother. That's a good fact. I didn't know that. But yeah, I knew this. I heard his voice and I was like, this sounds like Terrence Howard. Yeah, Terrence Howard is James, Tiana's father. I heard that accent. I was like, that sounds like Terrence Howard. It was. That's really cool. Of course, as you know, I reviewed Hustle and Flow, and he was the main character there. So he's also in this movie. John Goodman is Ellie Big Daddy LaBouffe. That's Lottie's wealthy father, Big Daddy. Okay, I'm not going to read that one. Those ones aren't too important. They're streaming on all the same sites I said earlier. Just without the Sling TV for free. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about my pros now. I love that they had all of the regional dialects. Like they had Tiana, I guess it would be like the standard New Orleans accent. They had Naveen, he was, like rich, noble. He was speaking a lot of French. Then they had Ray, who was the Cajun Firefly. He had the Cajun accent and like his whole family. Like it was really interesting. That reminds me of speaking of that, I'm wearing my shirt from New Orleans, and we actually did meet someone who was Cajun. We went on a swamp tour. Me and my best friend went to New Orleans last year in October for like Halloween spooky times, vacation. And yeah, it was really interesting. He was very, very comfortable with the swamp. Man was not wearing no shoes on the boat. Okay? Very comfortable, very fine with nature and stuff. So it's really interesting. But yeah, I love that they have all this representation as far as like the different dialects of people who like live in New Orleans or who come to New Orleans. I guess I'm not sure where Mount Donia. I don't think it's a real place. I'm not sure where it's technically supposed to be in the grand scheme of things for this universe of Princess and the Frog. But yeah, but he, of course, there's like the French Quarter, which my shirt has French Quarter somewhere on there. I think it's on the bottom. And there are a lot of French people, a lot of settlers from all kinds of places. I think French and Spanish were both in New Orleans. Um, if I remember my history correctly, yeah, I haven't been to in a history class in a while. But I feel like they did talk about that in like the tour of the city that me, or the French Quarter at least, that me and my friend took. Of course, the French were in the French Quarter. Yeah, so that was really cool. Oh, also having the local music, like the music that sounded like regional, that was really good. I really love that, and especially with what's the crocodile's name? I already forgot. Lewis. Sorry. Lewis was playing that trumpet like it was his, like the rent was due. It was really due for him. He was great. So that was fun element of it, and having him sing and all this. So that was really cool. Um, and then my last pro is the depictions of voodoo. I like that they had probably what people stereotypically think, which is bad things, like being tricked into being a frog, being tricked into, deceiving people. But it also had the good with Mama Od and how she, helped everyone, how she helped Tiana and Naveen. And it shows the good side and doesn't just show the bad. I really like that. It has a balance of the two, of course. Mainly the bad, because that's why they're frogs for like most of the movie. So, but it was a good, I feel like it was a good way to show both sides off. Which I did do a voodoo tour of New Orleans when I was there. And it's interesting about the voodoo dolls, since a lot of them, like I don't know if they would be African Americans that were there, but basically the black people in New Orleans, um, that did kind of like natural like remedies and stuff, which you know people think of like voodoo, like some like with natural herbs and stuff. Some of them couldn't read, so they would pull. So they would have little needles, and they would have dolls of people, like what the person looked like. They would put the needle into whatever spot that they had the issue with, and of course, white people saw this and were like, but really, it was a way to show, like, okay, so when so and so, whoever this doll looks like, comes in, they have a problem with their knee, for example, and that's how they would, know what to help them with. So that's how, like, the voodoo doll came to be, because people were like, oh, I see my friend as a doll with needles in them. They automatically think it's bad. So that's really interesting. I didn't know that before I went on the tour, so that was really cool to learn. And my one con is that they're frogs, especially Tiana. Most of the movie, like, I can't remember if it was like 30, 40 minutes in, but then by the last 20 minutes, you know, they finally break the curse. But I wanted to see her more. I did enjoy what I saw in the first part, like with her restaurant, with her working hard, and her at the masquerade party that Lottie was having. Was it masquerade? Yeah, it was masquerade party. But yeah, I would have loved to see more of the actual Tiana. So hopefully in the series, hopefully we get that. I talked about that in a short video as well. No, I talked about the live action. I kind of talked about it a little bit, but I really want that series. And I hope in the live action which I feel like it's probably just gonna be a shot for shot. So it is what it is. But I'm hoping they will tweak that a little bit. That would be nice. But we have to see. So my overall opinion. We finally get our get our princess for the black people. And I love that she has her own ambitions, but she still falls in love. So she still wants her restaurant, but she also has time for love, and I like that. She keeps both her dreams alive. I really like that. I love that both characters learn to value each other's unique characteristics. He's really spoiled. He's a prince. He hasn't done anything. He learns how to mince vegetables. And, they work together and they work with each other's strengths and weaknesses. He's very musical. She's very hardworking. They work together. I love the different types of people from New Orleans that are represented, that voodoo is shown in both good and bad ways, and the local music is highlighted. And it's very well-rounded, and I just love this story. It's just such a cute story. Even though, of course, I would not have wanted her to be a frog for most of the movie. But at least we got one. Maybe we'll get another one. I hope we get another one. She is not an animal for most of the movie. So the poem is called Tiana, of course. Taking your future in your own hands and building the life you never knew you wanted, but creating the life you always needed. So yeah, that's Princess and the Frog. So now the last movie is Moana. It's a computer animated musical fantasy action adventure film. Synopsis is set in ancient Polynesia. The film tells the story of Moana, the strong-willed daughter of a chief of a coastal village, who is chosen by the ocean to reunite a magical relic with the goddess Tefiti. Tefiti. When a blight strikes her island, Moana sets sail in search of Maui, a legendary demigod, in hope of returning the relic to Tefiti and saving her people. The plot is original, but it does take from Polynesian myths. That is a note that it says. It's released November 23rd, 2016. It's the same directors as Princess and the Frog, so that's cool. I just watched how to pronounce her name. I'm going to try my best. Lee E. Cravalho as Moana. She's the main character. I watched the video so I could pronounce her name right. I hope that does it justice. Okay, so she's the main character. Dwayne Johnson, Dwayne The Rock Johnson as Maui. He's the demigod. He can also shapeshift into different things. Rachel House as Tala, Tu's mother and Moana's paternal grandmother. She also has the passion for the ocean, and the two have a very deep bond. She also, it's really cute. She has a tattoo of a stingray, and she's like, "Oh, I want to come back as a stingray." It's really cute. Even though we still remember what happened with Steve Irwin, but I know he would not blame the stingray. But we loved Steve, so we're still mad about that. May he rest in peace. Speaking of that, but yeah. So she was a really cute character. Timura Morrison as Tu. I hope I'm saying this right. Tui. That's how you say it. That's his name. Moana's overprotective father. So yeah, he had a bad experience on the ocean, so he doesn't want her to go in the ocean. I won't spoil too much about that because it was a really sad part of the movie. But it's kind of an important fact of why he doesn't want her to go on the ocean. So I won't spoil it. Even though, of course, the movie's from 2016, but still. Okay, Jermaine Clement as Tamatoa, a giant villainous treasure-hoarding coconut crab from Lao Tai, the realm of monsters. I know I'm pronouncing some of this stuff wrong. Bear with me. Okay, Nicole Swartzinger, oh my gosh, as Sina, Moana's mom. Yeah. Uh, I swear I've heard her last name so many times, it still trips me up. Okay, okay. Let's see. And Alan Tudyk as Hey Hey, Moana's pet rooster. He's very dumb. Uh, it's very funny. He's like a little bit throughout the movie. Yeah, my mom just left, so that's why I was talking to y'all. You can stream it on all the same places except for Sling TV. So here are my pros and cons. My first pro is the animation slash aesthetic. It's just such a pretty movie. Like all the colors of the water, the flowers, the once they get to Fidi, you know, all of the things just look so wonderful. Like the computer, they put their foot into that computer animation. They really did their big one. It's such a pretty movie. I was rewatching it yesterday. Um, and yeah, it's just so beautiful looking. Like if it was a real movie, it would be like equivalent to like a really great cinematography. You know what I mean? Like it was really good. And I know some people have like a thing about computer animation. They like the hand drawn, but this one to me is really beautiful. They did a real good job. The message of the movie, doing things for your family, for your people. I really feel like that's really great. And, not being afraid to remember your roots. I feel like that's a really good message. And also the history, like the stories the grandma would tell. And, learning about the boats and just like and Tahiti. Like everything was just really like cool to learn about, like the history of this island, and that they mixed in Polynesian myths as well. I feel like that's really cool. Um, so my only con is I kind of wish that I'm not saying Maui was a bad character. I feel like we didn't need him. I feel like it would have been better if she was by herself and did the whole journey. I feel like that would have been really cool for me. But Maui was okay. He redeemed himself, towards the end, or well, kind of in the middle. But he did redeem himself. You know what I mean? Even though he stole the heart in the first place, he was the one that's supposed to return it. But I kind of wish she still did her own journey by herself. But it was fine, because she did end up leading her people, back to the roots of being voyagers and stuff. So that's cool. Kind of spoiled it a little, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I feel like that was really cool. Also, she's supposed to get a TV show, which I just put up a short about that. Apparently, it has no release date anymore, but hopefully, it'll come out next year with the Tiana show. That would be really great, especially because she wasn't the one looking for love, which I should probably talk about that in my overall opinion, but I'm gonna mention it now. It's really cool that she's not looking for love; she's looking to help her people, and I feel like that's a really great message. Okay, my overall opinion: the animation of the movie, like I said, is so beautiful. It's such a beautiful looking movie, and the message and the history made it so like sentimental. It was really nice. I especially loved, like I said, she did not have a love interest. She was just trying to save her island and her people. Yeah, she was just in it for the people. And I think that familiar love can be such a great lesson to teach like children, teenagers, and young adults that romantic love is not the end all, be all. That you can also be loved by your family and love your family as well, and do things for them and not just for a romantic partner. And I love the journey Moana went on and the lessons she learned on the way. So yeah, so the last poem, of course, is called Moana. Moving along the ocean to a new world, and to go on a new adventure to save all who mean the world to you. Oh, it says to me. Yeah, but you get what I'm saying. To her, to me. Yeah, I know what I'm saying. Basically, she went on a new journey to a new world to help the people that mean the world to her. So that's the message of the poem, message of the movie. Have you seen all these movies? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Are you excited for the series for Moana and Tiana? Do you also want like a sequel to Beauty and the Beast when the Beast is human? Because I would like to see what their life would have been like. They just left that there. They just had one Christmas special. I would like to know more about them and what their life was like when he was human. What is his name? That would also be nice to know. Because I thought it was Adam, but I'm not sure now. I'm not sure if I made that up or if that's like an actual thing. Uh, but yeah, so I will see you all next week.